Hey, ladies and gents, it's the Wiz coming to you with a review of the Mythic Legion's Malachi Cinderhorn action figure. Take a quick look at a bio for you and read that. It says Malachi Cinderhorn. If elves represent the purest of bloodlines and vampires a spoiled distortion of them, then Shadow Elves dwell somewhere in the murky middle of the two, with both the elegance and power of the elves and the savagery and bloodlust of the vampires. The Shadow Elves should not be underestimated or trifled with. Their almighty King Malachi Cinderhorn is a cunning warrior, but his charm and silver tongue could be his most deadly weapons. Like all Shadow Elves, Malachi harbors an underlying jealousy of elves that feeds an intense hatred for all Elvenkind, and especially for their queen, Artemyss Silverchord. So, Malachi Cinderhorn, jealous, evil, icy, sort of dwelling in the netherworld between vampires and elves. What a cool addition to the mythos. Here I thought they were just another race of elves. It turns out that they're sort of the bastard children of Elfkind, and maybe they're a hybrid of some sort. I don't know. But obviously what's very striking about them is the blue skin. And Malachi Cinderhorn. Why do I keep saying corn? Blue corn? Thanksgiving coming up? No, Thanksgiving is already here. Malachi Cinderhorn, not corn, is their leader. So let's take a look at this cool, icy figure. I imagine him coming from somewhere dark and cold. Black ice is what springs to mind. He's got a sort of a tiara with some antlers in the front, so you can see what that looks like. Indicative of nobility. He's got the same sort of hair that we saw with Lord Aiden, with his heroic counterpart, I suppose. I really like the crown. I like the fact that they didn't use the same horns on him and Aiden and Artemyss Silverchord, that each one has their own unique crown. The metallic blue here that we saw in the Shadow Elf Warrior is back, and it's out in full force. Look at this. I love the just the difference that having those spiky pauldrons makes. It kind of, with the blue, reminds me of, I don't know, ice or ice flows or something like that. Very, very cool appearance that he has. So he's got less of the matte black and way more of the metallic blue that comes up, from his armor, from his feet, up through his lower legs, and then a different color here. The other thing that I noticed with this color scheme, and instead of just being matte black, is there are matte black elements, but there's a deep, deep purple, which also gives them that sort of really royal look. Because if you see him next to the regular Shadow Elf Warrior, there are a lot of elements that are very similar, if not exactly the same. Upper arms, obviously his armored gauntlet and hands are fancier, sort of more brutal, but this belt buckle, these leather sort of armored side pieces are the same, but it's that deep purple which runs all the way down through his loincloth and then all the way up here. I don't know if the camera's good enough for you to catch the distinction, but it really adds something to him. The face is evil, the eyes gleam with white, and he just has a very determined and self-satisfied look on his face, like he's just done something that he's very proud of, but that he shouldn't be proud of. Look at the delicacy of the kind of tiara thing, and the ears. The sculpt is awesome. He comes with a cape, which is another thing that adds that sort of royal element. This is deep royal blue, and it's stretchy. And then the white hair also is very, very striking on this guy, as well as the metallic hair adornments as well. Let's take a look at some of his weaponry here. First of all, you saw him with the staff. We've seen this staff before with some mages, but I don't think we've ever seen this in this deep copper color, so it's very nice looking, and fits his character quite well, adds to that sort of royalty or the royal element. Obviously we're talking about a very powerful guy. Then we have this sword, which I really love, metallic, but not quite metallic blue, but then it's got a wash over it, so it doesn't shine quite as much. I love the design of the hilt, those elegant curves, and all the little details put into the handle and the hilt. A weapon definitely worthy of a king. Then he has also this, what I decided to call the Shadow Elf battle scythe weapon. So maybe this is like kind of like a Klingon weapon, like a signature weapon. That's kind of weird. I guess it could be used as sort of a long battle axe as well. But I imagine they have their own unique fighting style that they use, and that this weapon is a big part of that. So we've got that. We've got this very long sword. We've got, of course, the ubiquitous rubber, belt, the faux leather weapons belt. So you can put that around his waist if you want. We've got the 3 adapters. We've got this desiccant gel. It says it's throw away and do not eat. I imagine he could use that as poison, because that's the kind of guy that he seems like the kind of leader that would poison you and stab you in the back, and there would be all sorts of intrigue and palace intrigue and machinations, and I'm sure that's how he got to the position of power that he holds. And look, hey, I brought out Lord Aiden to take him out, so you can see what those two guys look like, sort of side by side. I think these are my 2 favorite elves. One because he's good, and one because he's bad. I also wanted to see whether or not that they share a face sculpt, because it's kind of hard to tell. I don't know. But it just shows you how you can take the same armor, and just by changing up this color scheme, you get a guy he's fallen down on the job. You get a guy who's wholly evil, and a guy who's totally good. And all you've changed up is the pauldrons, the gauntlets, and the color scheme. Very, very cool group of figures. And that is my review of Malachi Cinderhorn. This is Dwiz, signing out.